Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 303 of the RRBG podcast. This podcast is brought to you by our good friends at Thunderking Coffee. My boy Dean Tompkins is down there in Costa Mesa air roasting some of the most delicious coffee beans. Listen, I'm kind of a coffee nerd. I spend a lot of time putting together our whole system with a Chemex and the slow drip, and it's a lot of work in the morning. So I make sure that the coffee that I'm drinking is actually really good. I've tasted a lot of them from all over the place, and I have to say that Thunderking Coffee makes the best. My favorite one is the positive morning attitude. I go through 2-pound bags like it's nothing. Check them out. Go to thunderkingcoffee.com and pick some up today. And finally, the podcast is brought to you by our longest supporter, Saints Joints. My buddy Lawrence is out there in Washington producing some of the best top quality pre-rolled joints in the market. The packaging is incredible. Every single person I show them, the little packs, they have a little slide out where you have the 5 joints that are pre-rolled inside. The boxes have this incredible artwork on them featuring artists such as Skinner. Every time I go out, people ask me to give them a pack, and thankfully, Saints Joints keeps me supplied. So check them out. Go to saintsjoints.com. Support independent businesses. In this episode, I'm talking to my homie, Mean Pete Kovalsky of Remembering Never and Ether Coven. Pete and I have known each other for a long time, and we haven't spoken in a long time, so we did some catching up. We talked about new Remembering Never music he's working on. We talked about his new project, Heathen Prayer, and the new music he's working with them. We talked a lot about the hardcore scene. We talked a lot about the vegan scene. It was a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoy it. Make sure to follow all the projects at RemNev666 for Remembering Never, at Ether Coven, or at Heathen Prayer ATL. Please like down there, hit that little button, hit the little bell so you get notifications when we put new videos out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. It takes you 2 seconds, and it helps us defeat the algorithm. And if you get a chance, check out patreon.com/RRBG to help support the podcast. Cheers. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the RRBG podcast. Today I'm being joined by my homie. They call him Mean Pete. I've never seen him be mean once. But Peter,
not once. Not once in my life.
Not once have you been mean.
Never.
So,
hello.
How you doing?
I'm fucking chilling, freezing.
Freezing? Where are you at?
I'm in Atlanta.
Oh yeah, it's kind of chilly there.
And well, I just got back from Florida. I just got back from Florida, and it is not super cold here, but we had some snow, like particles or ice. We had some ice when we got back last night, and there's some snow on the ground today. It's a little bit cold, but it while it was cold in Florida, it was fucking freezing here. Missed all that, but it is what it is. I mean, we'll be getting it in January.
Yeah. I mean, January gets it gets cold up until like March here in LA, but it's not anywhere near what you guys are experiencing down there. I mean, it'll drop to like the 40s here, but that's about it.
Yeah, I think it was like 8 degrees here while we were gone.
Fuck.
Yeah.
All of that. I know. I've been considering moving to Virginia, but I
love Virginia. Richmond was like my number one spot that I wanted to move to.
It's my current number one spot where I would like to go after LA.
Richmond's sick.
It's so sick there, but it gets cold as fuck.
All right, listen, it's not like Philly cold or like Connecticut cold or like Detroit cold.
It snows. So, I mean, I went there when I think it was like around January or February. I don't remember the month exactly, but it was snowing and it was fucking free. Yeah. I had to buy thermals. You know what I mean? Like I had to get to
You're from Florida, bro. Thermals. Get out of here.
Exactly, Florida. When is it ever that cold in Florida?
Yes. Like as a rule, even when it did get cold in South Florida, the 3 days a year, as a rule, I was like, I'm never putting the heat on. When I got here, it was so fucking cold I had to put the heat on. But it pained me to put the heat on just because like in South Florida, you just you just live in the heat. That's it. It's just hot all the time. So it's like,
it's the perfect basketball team name.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because fucking heat.
Yeah. It's brutal. And it was just like hot. Even the cold snap that happened this last week, it was still hot.
Oh, so are you just staying in Georgia now permanently?
For legality reasons, I live in Florida still.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
But I come and go. You know, I'm like a snowbird, let's say.
Okay, that makes sense. That's some fancy ass. That's some fancy ass shit, snowbird. I have a summer home.
You know, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. You know, it's not. It's just doing what I got to do.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
So we've known each other for a long time.
Couple minutes.
Yeah, should let the fans know, let the people listening know. Like I've known you for 2007, 8 maybe. That's what I'm trying to think. Like that's when December started playing shows more often and started playing shows around the scene. And I think that's when we kind of met. Maybe.
Okay. I see Scripps from time to time.
Yeah, Scripps travels a lot, man. I love that guy.
Yeah.
He's
he lives in Atlanta.
Family.
So, he helps me out with some guitar stuff.
Nice.
He's awesome. He came to a show with me the other day, a few months ago, actually. Now, I think. Yeah.
Time is not makes no sense anymore.
No, not at all. But
no.
Yeah.
So how have you been? I want to know. I mean, like we've known each other for a long time, but we're not like in constant communication. I see your posts and stuff, and we keep in touch. But how have you been? How's your health? How's your health?
We're getting there. We're getting somewhere. I'm not sure where, but we're getting somewhere. So I don't know, just hanging, kicking it, doing Atlanta-y things.
Atlanta-y things.
Yeah, once Ether's able to get back on the road, we're going to do that. Just moved to Chicago, so we got a couple little snags we got to work out before we can hit the road again. But obviously, with the new record and everything, we have to get out and do that. And it feels weird. It feels like dirty to not play shows. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's like it's part of the thing. It's part of the creation itself. Like that when you finish the album, you got to go then perform it. I don't know. Yeah, I've always seen it that way.
I've played literally one show in the last year, and last year I think we did like 3. So, and considering I've been playing music since I was 13 and performing it since I was 17, this is like the longest I've gone without like playing lots of consecutive shows, well, the pandemic did that first. And then now it's just like, we're still kind of, getting back out of all of that. It's a little tricky, but
it's very tricky, man. There's a lot of people. I mean, especially in Europe, I hear a lot of people complaining that it's like, they can't afford it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything's weird. It's like, we were supposed to do something in January, and then we were going to cut it in half just because I was like paranoid with COVID. And like, I was like, we're not a big band that like gets hotel rooms every night. So it's like, okay, well, I don't think anybody's gonna be like super comfortable with us like staying in their house while we're traveling. So let's
during cut that time. Yeah,
exactly. Well, this was just the beginning of this year, but I was still like, still kind of like paranoid, and there was a lot of stuff popping off, in January. And we're like, well, fuck it. We'll just do like super East Coast, and just do like, we'll have like New York be the hub because I have family there. So we could just come and go kind of, and then just play the last week of the tour that we had booked. And then if we had got COVID in the last couple of days, it wouldn't matter because we would be home after that anyway. So, and then Justin had an emergency come up, so we couldn't go, and it was the whole thing. So, yeah.
So, like you were saying, life gets in the way sometimes.
Life gets in the way. Life gets in the way for sure.
But at least, look, if you want to be that, look at the silver lining, you at least got to play a show this year.
Yeah.
As opposed to, 2020, there was no shows at all. Yeah. It still sucks though, man. I can imagine that's got to be affecting you mentally because I mean, for me, I've been having like, I've gone through phases since it's been like about 6 years since we played, and I'm like, I don't know, I kind of went through the grief, I think, already. Now I'm just kind of in if I go back to it, cool. If not, whatever. But I mean, are you still kind of in the grieving period for not playing shows? Like, you want to play shows, of course.
As far as the grief goes, like, obviously, it's something that it's one of those things where you feel like you need to do, especially if you've been doing it for so long. I think I'm still staying as creative as I can possibly be. So I feel like as long as I'm still in that atmosphere where, I could still play and get whatever I need to express out in that way. Focusing a lot on like guitar stuff. It's something that, it kind of keeps me together while I can't be doing exactly what I want to do. So, it's kind of making do with what I got,
What are you working on now? Like, when you say you're working on some guitar stuff, but I mean, is there a frame of mind when you're going into it? Are you thinking Ether? Are you thinking maybe Remembering Never? Like, where are you at?
Honestly, everything and anything. I've been working on some Remembering Never stuff, music wise. So, I have to record a song and send it over to Danny so he can do the drum thing to it. And, so we got a couple of those on deck. Ether stuff, I figured I don't want to get back into that until I'm ready to like dive in head first and only commit to that. Cause when I'm doing that, I can't really do much else because, it's, such a big thing. I don't want to I don't want to dip my toes into something like that and then like have other things to work on because I feel like it'll just taint the experience, Not to sound like pretentious, artsy. Yeah,
it's like method
really
acting. You're a method actor, is what you're saying, bro. No, I'm just kidding.
Pretty much. I'm basically, what's that guy? Christian Bale.
Yeah, Christian Bale of hardcore. That's what you.
Yeah, pretty much. Or Daniel Day-Lewis. We're basically the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even when I was like writing with my new stuff, Heathen Prayer, which is just a hardcore band, it's difficult for me to switch gears even from that, because it is a very like moody. As it's hardcore, like it's as hardcore as just exactly that with little things here and there, but it's still moody and expressive. So it's hard to kind of bounce that around. Trying to do Remembering Never stuff, trying to do Ether stuff. I want to do more stuff. I want to do like a heavier kind of project, which is fucking redundant, I guess, with my resume.
Heavier than Ether, I guess.
No, sorry, I didn't do I didn't preface it. I want to do like a heavy kind of like not rock band, but like something really heavy, only singing vocals over it.
Ooh.
Yeah, something like really fucking, really. I've been trying to. I want to do that for like quite some time. So I'm hoping to do something with that. I started writing in the last year or so, but then I get sidetracked because this is what happens. I get sidetracked and then I just focus all my attention on this other thing. Now that the Heathen Prayer EP is out, we have another 8 songs that we have together, and then I have another like 5 or 6 that we all have to work on. So once that's recorded, then I can focus on another thing, and then kind of go from there. But until then, it's just like, I'm like herding cats to myself when it comes to what I'm trying to do. I can't like. As much as I want to be in 5 different directions at once, it's really difficult for me to stay focused on a thing, or focus on more than one thing. So
yeah, man. I mean, it sounds wild to me. Like I wouldn't even be able to, like musically, specifically with what you're going through, like having to break it down to that point where like, okay, this is going to be for this project, but it's still within the same realm. Like I would lose it, man. I can't and as I get older, it's getting harder for me to focus on like, if I'm doing podcasting, okay, that's what I'm doing today. I need to do that. And everything about the day is around that. And if I get out of that zone and it's not going to pop. And it's, I don't know, man. I feel you though. I feel you though about like not spreading yourself too thin. I think.
Yeah. And it's annoying because I'll sit here and be like, oh shit, I have an idea for this thing that I haven't even started working on, but here's my idea. I can't start working on it until I have this done. And it's just like, fuck, man. Like I have too many things I'm trying to do.
What could alleviate that for you? You think having like a intern would help? Like an assistant?
Shit. Yeah, no. I mean, it's just kind of like, when you play music with other people, unfortunately, like
oh yeah, you're on their schedule. Yeah,
you're at their mercy, essentially.
Yeah.
And, I mean, if everyone had all the time in the world and we could just sit down, mash it all out, go record, have it done, and then boom, I can move on to the next thing. Unfortunately, not everybody can be on that perfect kind of schedule. So, it's kind of just working it all out slowly. And we're getting there. Like I said, we have 8 new songs, Heathen Prayer does. And then, once we get to 14 or 15, we'll go record and then have enough stuff for a full length and some splits or EPs or whatever we want to do. But that'll be done. I can compartmentalize that. Now I can start on this other thing. I can work more seriously on New Memory Never stuff, or I can focus more on this new thing I'm trying to do, or I can do something else altogether. So yeah, once everything's in the can, ready to go, then it's time to do the next thing. But until then, it's just my brain is really bad at trying to focus on, more than one thing.
Yeah, I hear you, man. So have you thought about doing a solo project at some point where it's just you so that you don't run into that, other people's schedule issue?
I would fucking absolutely love that. I did start writing for something that sounds like Jesu or Jesus, because it's just him. And I was like, That's such a great fucking idea. That was really heavy with some singing. I wrote 2 songs, and then I was like, I don't know how to do anything for drums. Okay, I'm done. And then, so my buddy Matt,
they got programs now. It'll make it easier for you, the Drumagog or something like that.
I am the least intelligent person you've ever met in your entire life. So I don't. When it comes to all these things, I don't. But Matt, that used to play in Into the Moat, lives here in Atlanta. So
that's good.
He was going to help me because he does floorless. So he was going to help me mess around with some drum stuff months back, and then. Like I said, I just can't stay focused on things, so I haven't bothered him about it. But hopefully he'll see this and be like, "Oh shit, hey, let's work on that thing." We'll see.
That'd be dope. Yeah, man. I mean, I've always wanted to learn how to use one of those drum programs, but every time I'll download them and I'll watch videos, and it's just halfway through, I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah, it's I just want to play guitar. I don't want to I'm not a drummer, but then it's okay, well, if you want to do everything yourself, then it'll be super easy because then I can just write as much as I want to write, and then if I wanted to record it with a real drummer, many people can do the job that needs to that can do. Or if I want to play live, okay, here's songs, figure it out and let's play it, and cool. I wouldn't be mad at doing a ministry type thing, not ministry because there's only one ministry, but where there's a drum machine but also a drummer, because that just sounds fucking punishing. That would be cool. But, it's kind of just finding the drive, the focus, and all that to sit down and make it happen, which I'm really bad at.
Well, I mean, it's when you're putting yourself in when you're a creative person and you're putting yourself in that world, it's hard to stay focused, man. If it were easy, everybody would be doing it, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But I'm excited that you're keeping busy, man, and writing new stuff. I mean, I want to hear all of it. I've been wanting to, dive into some creativity as well, but I've, like I told you, I feel like I've grieved and moved on.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's over. I don't know. It's never truly over, but
Yeah.
I
mean, you're in LA, right?
I'm in LA. There's plenty of musicians here.
Yeah, there's no shortage of awesome musicians to and I'm sure, well, I know that there's definitely awesome people from South Florida that also are in LA now. If you couldn't find LA locals proper, which you throw a rock and there's no shortage of insane musicians. But yeah, I mean, we know collectively many people that live there from South Florida alone. So
yeah, I got to hit up Mitch and see if we can start a project.
That would be crazy.
We do. We'd start we'll use an AI generator to make beats. That's all you got to do.
Perfect.
That's what's happening. Have you seen that, by the way? There's a YouTube channel that is 24/7 artificially generated gent.
Oh, that sucks.
I checked it out. I checked it out just to be let me hear this. And if you would have been that's this band, Like I'm, just a name, like as big as all the oceans. I would have been like, yep, that's a band for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't realize gent was a thing. Like I didn't know what this was. And then, then someone's like, oh, this band and this band and this band. And I'm like, oh, I hate all of this music. And then I think someone was like Meshuggah. And I was like, okay, Meshuggah's cool. But like, if that's the first thing that's considered that. And then I guess the Acacia Strain probably is derivative from Meshuggah. And I was like, okay, well, the Acacia Strain's awesome. But I think they have more like old, like Blood Has Been Shed, influences. I know for a fact. So then that makes more sense. But like genty stuff, everything with like clean guitars and like periphery. Yeah, all that kind of stuff. Like the first Between the Buried to me, insane. The second one, the third one, really good. But after that, that's like far beyond my scope of being able to understand anything. And, I like to keep, when people that aren't familiar with like my kind of music that I play, they're like, oh, you play guitar? You play lead or bass? It's just like, I play for like.
I fucking shred, man.
Yeah. Like I play for the sake of the song or the sake of the feeling. Not because I want to be like, oh, hey, look, I'm fucking Zach Mild. Like,
Zach Mild. Like, I like that.
I was never big into like music that's like real solo-y. And when I started playing guitar, I was never like, yo, I want to play solos. It was more like Uncle Devin says, more of a tool than like an instrument,
I think your solo project should be all solos.
Just solos.
Just
one time,
solos.
Funny enough, not me, but speaking of Zach Wild, that like when he was doing that Zach Sabbath thing, bro. Are you familiar with the project?
Yeah.
Okay, I love the idea because he has a very Ozzy type voice, a better voice than even Ozzy has. Because we saw him on that like last Sabbath tour and he was not good, which is weird.
He's also 150. I mean,
yes. But we saw Zach Sabbath at the Culture Room, and I guess it's basically Black Sabbath songs with Zach Wild putting in 45-minute solos in each one. And nice. I think they were doing The Wizard or something. And it was in the break, the solo break. Dude walks off the down the stairs off the stage, across to the back of the venue, up the stairs to the balcony. And you know how the balcony connects back to the stage. He made it maybe a third of the way across the balcony and then realized, oh shit, there's not enough cable. So then he had to go back down the stairs, go across the venue, up the stairs, back onto the stage. He couldn't even do a full circle. So I was just like, and he was playing a solo. He was just doing it the whole time and just fucking getting it. And I was like, this is great. I want to hear Black Sabbath songs, so I don't care about solos. Like, fucking wrap this up, Yeah.
But. Yeah. I mean, I grew up in a weird way, man. I appreciate both sides of what, like, this discussion of, like, I like solo shit only to just kind of like in a spectacle form. Like, it's not music to me. Mm-hmm. It's just watching a spectacle. Like, I'm looking at the crazy way this dude's moving his fingers and it's producing this crazy sound. And okay, that's cool. It's kind of like just like a nice thing. And then there's music like what you make that it really connects to my heart and my soul, and I just feel more passionate about it. Like I want to mosh, I want to fucking rage to it. So I don't know. I'm grateful that I can accept both sides of that, world. Because
that's not to say I don't like solos. Certain kinds of like Slayer.
Oh,
all day,
okay,
all day, every day. If I have the choice to hear solos from Slayer or solos from like the top 5 guitar players in the world, it's Slayer all day. Certain people, yes, but like just like fancy, like very classical. Not classical, but like classic rock kind of like guitar solos. Like I don't fucking care about that shit. Like
Steve Vai.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I super do not give a fuck about. And it's and it's cool because like he's one of the guitar guys of the world, but like also I don't give a fuck. Like,
yeah, I mean, I went to see him a few years ago in Florida, Miami, I think at the Gleason or something, and I remember watching like 4 or 5 songs and then leaving. I was like, I'm good.
There's only so much you can.
I've had my fill. Thanks.
Yeah, like that stuff's cool, but it's like it's not. It's it gets boring after a while, which sounds kind of weird because like solos are like the the money shot of every song,
Yeah.
But it's just like that's great. But like one of my favorite bands were like Machine Head growing up. They didn't have like crazy solos on the first 2 records, so like I don't care,
Yeah. Yeah, it's a different vibe, man. It's a different vibe completely. And it's, people like to gatekeep it too. It's very like elitist kind of like, I don't know, like, you don't understand that this was written in 5/18. It's like, okay, well, I'm good. I don't need to understand that. I'm not making that music. I just appreciate the fast movement. Like, it's like Fast and the Furious. I like those movies because they're just, it's explosions and car chases. Vin Diesel's fighting The Rock, and there's somebody going to space. Like, cool, man.
I've never seen one of those movies. I went on the ride at some point, and now
one at Universal.
Yeah. So now I want to see the
Vin Diesel
movies.
holding onto the helicopter at one point.
Oh, it's so corny. Yeah, the whole thing is so corny. But like now I'm like slightly invested. So it's like, okay, I'll watch these movies because like I kind of have an idea of something that happens in them.
No, look, they're good for what they are. People just go in a little too serious. They're expecting an Oscar-winning performance. It's like, guys, it's cars going fast. And there's explosions and stuff.
But those kind of movies are not like the kind of shit that I like, and nothing that I watch. Like, so it's super out of my wheelhouse. But like now, it's like, okay, I like Vin Diesel because I feel like he's just like Vin Diesel. I don't know how to explain that.
It's all about family, Doug.
That's what I hear, according to the ride. I don't know anything else.
It's all about family.
Unless it's like an Olive Garden, right? Because when you're there, you're family.
Yes. When you're there, you're family. Endless salad and endless breadsticks, man.
Those breadsticks, boy. Woo!
I'll tell you, I gained about 10 pounds when I discovered that you can order Alfredo sauce to dip the breadsticks in. And then I stopped going to Olive Garden because I was going to die. I was going to kill myself.
My sister's a huge Olive Garden fan, so for years and years and years, my family would come down from New York and meet in Orlando and go to the theme parks and everything. And then she would make us all go to fucking Olive Garden. And it's like, this is the grossest shit that you could possibly...
Authentic Italian.
Yeah, it's like microwaved jar sauce. You know what I mean? And coming from a bunch of Italians, like, this is total trash. Being vegan, there's almost nothing. You've got to order like wheat pasta with like red sauce and like mushrooms and olives, and you can have the breadsticks. And that's pretty much it. Like, it's just like the
Can
worst.
you have the breadsticks, or isn't there egg in bread?
No,
like,
every time because I have to go every time. Anytime I do go, I haven't had it. I had it one time this year, and not since fucking 5 years probably. But every time you have to ask. And just to make sure in case they change, I like to like throw like weird changes at you at weird times. So yeah, all good there.
Yeah, we got to cut corners, so we're adding beaver assholes for some reason.
Yeah, so silly, but yeah, Olive Garden.
So how long, have you been a vegan your whole life? Like, since you were a kid?
I went vegan. I went vegetarian when I was like 20, probably. Okay. Like the last year I lived with my parents, or lived with my mom, and then I went vegan probably when I was 20, 22, 23 tops. I think 22. And then I was vegetarian in like 2010 for a few months, just because I was having a lot of weird life changes, and I was like, oh, I don't want to dedicate anything trying to make a bunch of food that I don't want to eat anymore because I'm tired, I'm bored, I don't know what to make anymore, so I'm gonna eat pizza. And so yeah, I fell off and was vegetarian for a few months. Yeah, in like 2010, I just started college, and like I was just like bugging out, and it was a whole thing. But I gained like 40.
No, I was gonna say, were your parents vegan or vegetarian too?
No, quite the opposite. I remember like getting like Earth Crisis CDs and showing my mom because mom was always like, she liked animals, and I'd be like, Ma, listen to this insert from fucking Earth Crisis about all this animal rights stuff. And she'd be like, oh, that's nice, PETA. And I'm like, I think I want to be a vegetarian. And she was like, okay.
At least you were supportive.
Yeah, I mean, she bought, Morningstar stuff or whatever for the year that I was vegetarian before they moved. So cool. But yeah, so
What was a choice for you? Why was it? Because of the just love for animals and animal cruelty? Was it a health reason?
Just health reasons, like fucking, especially nowadays, there's way too many options, which is why I'm fucking huge. Now it's like they have 15 different vegan options everywhere you go, vegan treats everywhere. It's, back in 2002, 2003, 2004, there was like, you'd find a health food store and it was like health food. It wasn't like trash vegan food. But yeah, animal welfare. The first thing, I was in a band with John Wiley, who was from Morning Again, and they were a vegan band. And I was in a band called Until the End with him, and he was talking about, veganism to me one day and just telling me things. He gave me a book, and then, I think he gave me Diet for New America, which was written by John Robbins, the heir to Baskin and Robbins, and he refused to take it. Yeah. So he wrote a book, and he's been vegan for years and years and years and years and years. So Diet for New America was like the Bible for like veganism, and read that, went vegetarian. And then I read a book called Slaughterhouse, which is about slaughterhouses, eyewitness accounts, investigations and talking to workers that worked there at the time, former workers, and just, how they're treated, how the animals are treated. And I was just like, okay, I'm out. Like, I can't, knowing all of these things, I can't, do this anymore. And then after I read that book, I was vegan, and I was like, all right, this is where we're going now. And,
Yeah. It's funny. You mentioned that there are too many options now. I try to tell that because there are a lot of, you say you're one of the dumbest people, or not dumb, but like not intelligent.
Yeah.
What you said.
Not very smart.
Well, I have friends that are way dumber than you are, that when they hear vegan, they immediately think healthier. They don't think it's like, I'm trying to stay away from it. They don't care about the animals. It's more of like, oh, this is healthier. It's like, no, because Oreos are vegan, you dummy.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
It gets tough because like back in the day, we would get so excited to go to like Ronald's in Vegas because they had a shit ton of tons of donuts. Like places like Donut Friend exists in LA, or I think it's in LA. I'm sure you've been there. Yeah. And most of the donuts there are vegan, and it's just like one of my favorite places. And just like all these places like that pop up, donut shops everywhere. And it's like, all right, come on, what are you guys trying to do to me? I lost a bunch of weight on accident. Now I'm gaining weight on accident. And like, yeah, there's stuff out here, you know what I mean? But yeah, where there were minimal options, now it's like fucking, now Morningstar made a sausage pancake corn dog.
Jesus. Come on.
And yeah, it was buy one get one at Publix. So I was like, fuck it, let's try this. Got it. It's amazing. I will never buy it again because it's just absolute trash. But like, I like to try one of the new thing that comes out. Okay. It's total trash. Certain things I have not tried and will not try, like fucking pizza rolls. Like, I don't, like, that wasn't very good when I ate regular shit. So like, I don't want like a vegan
regular
version
pizza
of that.
rolls are not that good.
Yeah. It's like pizza or it's not.
I made the mistake not to, like, I was sitting around stoned out of my mind with no food left, and I was like, pizza rolls, and I haven't had these since I was a kid, and I realized there's a really good reason for that. They fucking suck. All the inside stuff comes out, and so it's just an empty, soggy shell. I
remember because I used to go to my friend's house, my best friend, whose name's also Pete, almost the same last name. He was born 2 days before me. I've known him since I was in 5th grade. Yeah. It's the whole thing. But I used to go to his house every day after school, and his mom would always have like bagel bites with the pizza stuff and pizza rolls and fucking this and that. And I remember eating the pizza rolls, and just like the outside coating, like the breading of it was so fucking gross, and they would just like slough off the rest of it. It was just really like bready, and it would just I don't know, this feeling. It felt like you're eating like some burlap sack kind of with like tomato sauce. It would burn
the roof of your mouth and shit too.
And that, but mostly like it just felt like a little weird burlap pillow that I was fucking. It's like, this is fucking gross.
Terrible. Going back to like the vegan products, you keep mentioning Morningstar. Is there a brand that like does it right for you? Like, is Impossible better than Beyond or any of that shit?
Shit, there's so like now. where there was only Morningstar and Boca products back, when I first went vegetarian. Now there's like Gardein and Field Roast and Impossible and Beyond. So I mean, everything kind of has like, there's a space for everything. I know the jury's out for vegans with the Impossible meat because I guess they tested it on rats or something. So people, it's like, and they're like, that's not really vegan because of this and that. And it's like, okay, well, I get that. But actually, I had a conversation with a fellow vegan, and we were going out to eat, and they were like, oh, Impossible, this and that. And I was like, wait, do you have cats? And they're like, yes. And I was like, feeding cats is way worse than ordering an Impossible burger, right? Like if you're just like keeping a cat alive because you're giving it you're giving it dead, whatever comes in a can over and over and over for the duration of its fucking life is way worse than going to get somewhere to get an Impossible burger that had testing done one time. It's over. And now it's just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Impossible meat, it's good. The certain like burgers, it's easy, it's accessible, tastes good. I try not to eat a lot of it just because I like to have vegetables and stuff. But Beyond Burgers, same kind of thing. It's great. Beyond products are probably the best. The sausage tastes a little too real for me, so
okay. I
don't fuck with that much. Gardein has a lot of really good stuff. Since they came out, they've had consistently like really good products. We just had one of the roasts for Thanksgiving. But they have some like fish, like it reminds me of like fish fillets from McDonald's. When I was a little kid, that was my shit. So I'll make those and think like,
what a brave man you were. No, I mean, fish fillets in McDonald's.
Listen, we were so poor. Mom would she would drop me off at school, pick me up from school. She would go to work the whole time. Pick me up. We would go through the drive-thru at McDonald's, get a fish fillet. She would drop me back off at home, have potatoes and eggs on the stove that she had already made for dinner time at whenever that would be, and then she would go back to work. And so McDonald's was like the cheap bottom of the barrel trash, but fish fillet was like my favorite thing when I was a kid. Okay. I don't know why, but I was never like a fish person after that. Yeah.
Okay.
I never had lobster.
So you went straight vegetarian. You didn't do like, 'cause some people do the pescatarian thing for a while and then they go vegetarian. You just went straight.
I was never big into fish. I never liked, shrimp was fine. That was cool. But like, it was just, I just ate tons of, Boca Morningstar products and cheese stuff, I'm sure. I don't remember, this is going back 20 years, so I don't really remember much, but I remember a lot of Morningstar stuff. I remember a lot of ribs, those Morningstar ribs they had, and chicken patties from Boca. I remember that, like, for law. Like, that was it. That was almost every day.
Nice. So you mentioned falling off the wagon a little bit and from vegan to vegetarian. You're also you're known to be straight edge. Has that ever happened to you there? Have you ever had like a taste or something?
No. I've never been like tempted to do anything as far as that kind of stuff goes. It's just one of those things that like and being around it all the time, you kind of see how people act when they get a little
saucy.
Yeah. And it's fine, like, it's fine for other people, but it's not something that I'm trying to get into and do the whole thing. And I had a lot of family friends and a lot of family members have a lot of substance issues. So it wasn't anything like, oh man, I really want to drink 12 6-packs right now, or, whatever. 12 packs. I don't know. Either way, I've never been like tempted to like fucking drink drinks and, smoke weed and stuff and do the whole thing. It just, I don't know. It's one of those things. And then I think by the time I was like an adult, I was already like set in my ways, and I was like, all right, well, I'm not gonna fucking start smoking weed now. That's weird. But no disrespect to anybody that does anything. As long as you fucking handle it and it doesn't harm anyone else. Like, do your thing,
So that's basically, it's a family thing though for you. Like that's where it comes from. Like
that's kind of where it started. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cause I know that for most people that are sober or choose to be sober, there's a reason. It's like, I can't, physically, health wise, or a family member that has a problem or something like that. Cause like that, I know some sober folks that they try and play it off that it's like, no, it's just, I've just never been. I'm like, fuck that, man. Humans are not that ironclad. Like something's holding you back,
Yeah.
And in your case, it was family,
Yeah. I remember the first time I ever heard about straight edge. I think it was from H2O, and I was like, that's weird. I feel all these same ways. I guess that's what I am. Cool. Let's do that. So then I just leaned into that, and being a hardcore kid for being like diving headfirst into that when I was like 15 years old. That kind of just like dictated where I went and what I did and who I associated with, and that kind of stuff. So you kind of jump on a train and it just fucking goes. You know what I mean? And that's kind of
Well, there's also like layers to the straight edge thing. It's not just like there's some people that there's different tiers. I don't know how it works.
Okay,
there's I don't drink or do drugs, but then there's the ones that are like I don't have sex. Like there's a, you know what I mean? Like there's tiers to it.
As far as that kind of thing goes, I think a lot of people have a lot of weird takes on it. I'm in a straight edge group on Facebook, and it gets real corny in there real quick. And it's died down recently, but it gets real silly. And I just go in there and talk shit to people that are just being like, they're like, oh, I had to do this because of this. I kind of want to do this. And it's like, if you want to do something, fucking go do it. Like, don't let straight edge, because you found out what straight edge was from a wrestler on WWE. Like, don't let that determine what you do with your fucking life. Like, it's like, if you don't know who Minor Threat was, you should never comment on straight edge. Like, don't even talk about it. Like, people are like, oh, that's gatekeeper shit. It's like, I don't give a fuck. That's where it came from. And if you are basing your like whole personality or your whole like thing, whatever this is, if you don't know who Ian MacKaye is or Minor Threat, and you don't know where straight edge came from, like, fuck you. Like, I don't care. Like, call it keeping all you want, but it's like, you have to know the roots. Like, it's when Christians have never read the Bible and don't understand anything about it, and don't know, like, that it's a sin to eat shellfish. Like, it's not my fault that you don't know about the thing that you claim to believe in. Like,
Yeah.
So kind of like that. And a lot of people in like that group, and a lot of like, younger straight edge people got it from, a wrestler, or they got it from whatever. And it's like, and granted, Minor Threat wasn't even a straight edge band. Fun fact, a lot of people don't realize, there's 4 or 5 people in the band at any given time, and only half of them went by those, ideals of don't drink, don't smoke, don't fuck. So a lot of people are like, oh, caffeine's a drug, and it's like, and you've seen Ian MacKaye like comment on it, and like he's like, tell your friend fuck you. Like, if you've seen in promo pictures of Minor Threat, I mean, I'm sure they weren't intended to be promo pictures, but he's holding a can of Coke in his hand in almost every one. So it's like, that's the dude that fucking coined the term, and he is drinking caffeine, which is a drug. Like, get out of my face. Like, you don't know, you have no idea what you're talking about. Like, so it's one of those things. Like, it's just it's a frustrating thing. It's not a big deal, but it's a frustrating thing. It's like, know your roots. Like, know what the fuck you're about. Like, before you
stand for. Yeah. If you're going to claim something, then know what you're claiming,
Yeah. Like, everybody wants to have all these weird add-ons. It's like, that's not, you're just trying to like make a thing, like something that's kind of like exclusionary, even more exclusive. And it's like, for what? Like, you're just like bastardizing this thing that like this movement that a lot of people, have dedicated their lives to, or have dedicated efforts to, or have been a part of making it grow, or been a part of it, but don't add fucking weird extra rules like Ian MacKaye. That's it. Yeah. And then if you take, taking it so seriously that it's like every single part, it's like, bro, it's a punk song of a band that wasn't even straight edge. Like, all right, calm down. So it kind of works both ways,
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird how humans do that, man. Humans want that exclusivity, that like, oh, this is mine. Like, nobody else is, where'd you get that shirt? No, I don't know. I can't tell you, dog. It's a special
Everybody
drop.
Wants to be a part of something.
Yeah, fuck, man. I hate it.
And it's like, you don't...
I get it for financial reasons. People want to make money. Fine, whatever. But boy, does that suck.
Yeah, it's like, oftentimes, even moving outside of, subcultures like straight edge, people want to like, attach their wagon to other people's rides, which you see, and not to get like weird about things, but like I see it a lot with like the LGBT community, where people be like, "Oh, I'm this," and it's like, "I'm part of this community," and it's like, "Wait, you're pansexual, and you think you are going to sit at the same table with people that have like been fucking oppressed and like beaten the fuck up because of who they are?" And all of a sudden it's like, "Oh, I'm just attracted to like whomever, whatever." It's like, bro, you've never been like literally like beaten up or kicked out of places because you were gay or because you were trans or because, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you just want to hit your shit onto someone else's thing. Like, you could be an ally. You could be, as whatever as you want to be, but like, taking away, like, people don't understand like how much things take away from people that deserve to sit at that table, like people that have earned the right to sit at that table because of how they felt their entire lives growing up, like suicidal because being gay is so like out of the fucking box that people can't handle that idea, so that they gay people get shit on and have their entire lives. We know people that have lived in the closet for years and years and years because they were not comfortable because it hasn't been a very accepted thing. And for someone else to be like, "Oh, I'm gonna sit at this table even though like I'm not part of the group," like it's like, nah, bro, like that sucks. Like, I get it, you want to be like special or whatever it is, and it's like, nah, you're cool, it's fine, but like, don't try and take up these causes because you didn't bleed for them. You don't have the same struggles as these people, like that kind of shit bothers me.
But okay, so like, let me play devil's advocate a little bit here. I mean, I agree with you, by the way. I'm just doing this for conversation reasons. But how does a person like that like become part of the cause then? Like how if they're trying to be part of the cause. So like if they're charging, they're waving the flag, and they're trying to be a part of the cause. Why is it bad for them to sit at try and bear the flag? Like how can they get into it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not necessarily a bad thing per se, but when people want to make it their whole personality and get offended about things that they're not concerned with, then it becomes a little sticky. And as far as like how they can be like a better ally or a better, whoever, talk to people that belong to that community. Say, hey, what can I do to support you in this juncture and whatnot? Whatever it is. I don't know. I mean, we have friends and, our very good friend, Uncle Devin. I call him Uncle Devin. Not like I've ever had to go up and say, "Hey man, what can I do?" Like, but many times we've gone to, Wilton Manors, which is like the gay area, the city. And, I'm getting looked at like a fucking piece of meat when we go to the gym bar. It's great.
You are
it's great
a hot commodity. You're a hot commodity in a certain community out there.
Yeah. But whenever we go out there, he'd be like, "Listen, man, thanks so much for coming out." Like, I ask people to come out all the time and no one ever wants to come out. And it's like, even that, I'm not going to be like, "Oh, hey," but like, that's my best friend. So like, if he wants to go do a thing that he doesn't necessarily feel super comfortable with because he's still new to this community, like, cool, I'll come. I don't give a fuck. Like, I love a lot of people, most people. And that, I think that's, kind of just like getting your feet a little wet. If you have friends in the community, like, hey, what can I do? I don't want to overstep. I don't want to step on any toes. What can I do that's not going to be like me, like pandering, or me, like, it's not going to be like me, like, I don't know. It just, it bothers me because it's like, I get it. Everybody wants to be, this and this and this. Everybody wants to feel special, and they have a label.
It's at the cool kids table, man.
Yeah, it's like, it's not. It's like, I get it. Do your own thing. Like, just be yourself. Like, you don't need to fucking, But a lot of people don't understand that, and I think internet. Not to be like the old guy screaming at the cloud, but I do think like internet culture is definitely creating a lot of buffers for people, and it's like a lot of attaboys about just like the dumbest shit, and a lot of like people against gatekeeping, which I'm completely for gatekeeping in certain aspects when it comes to like hardcore and stuff. Like, I'm super for gatekeeping because if you don't gatekeep your fucking scene, then you have abusers coming in, you have jocks coming in, and now what are we doing this for? This movement that we were part of, this music scene that we were a part of that was so different than the outside world, now looks very much like the outside world because we didn't do a good job gatekeeping, because everybody wants to be a part of a thing. It's like hardcore is for anyone, but it's not for everyone. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
if that makes sense.
Weird, it's a weird thing, man. It's a touchy subject. It's because it is weird. I've seen it now in a lesser extent of intensity, but nerd life, nerdum. Like, when I was a kid growing up, I liked comic books, and it was like I wasn't ostracized for it. I was the nerd. You know what I mean? Yeah. Now it's everywhere. It's the culture. Yeah. Everyone likes comics, and it's kind of like the other day, we went, my wife and I went to Universal, and I'm walking around, I'm like, now everyone's into it, and it doesn't feel as special anymore. I don't know. Yeah. I don't want to be a dick about it, but it's like, I don't know. I want people to enjoy it, but I think, I mean, that is like a very a very safe take on that, because it's comic books, and if you got like Wolverine 48, 49, 51, there were millions of those printed, so like, of course they went somewhere and they're all worth nothing now. So someone was buying them, but when it comes to like causes, then things that people have fucking like lost their lives over, or have gone to prison for, or it's a little different. But I mean, I think being a part of like very uncool shit growing up, and then seeing how like widely accepted it is as like an adult, you're just like, oh man, like I would have been so fucking cool if like when I was in like middle school and high school, like if it was like today, because like metal, I was into metal and comic books like when I was in middle school and high school, and like that shit was not cool, like super not cool. I remember the big thing when I was in like middle school. Fuck, I don't even remember, honestly. It was so long ago. I don't remember what like mainstream stuff was, like music wise. I think like what year was it?
I graduated in '99.
Okay, me too. Britney Spears.
I think that came right after that. I think.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like I think maybe NSYNC
and the Backstreet Boys, like all the boy bands.
I just remember popular. Like I was super not into all of that shit. Like obviously, that's what it is. Because I was once I found like metal and hardcore, I just like dove head first in, and that's all I wanted to know about and give a fuck about anything else. Everything else was like super lame, and it was all about comic books and funny movies and music, and that's what I wanted to do, and that's all I gave a fuck about. So, I'm listening to like Machine Head and Typo Negative and like fucking Danzig, and everybody else is listening to whatever was cool. A lot of bad rap music was happening at that time, I believe, like Mace and Puff Daddy in high school. Oh, I do remember being super into like The Chronic when it came out.
That was good. West Coast was like good. East Coast rap to me was not very East Coast rap. Well, I mean,
Wu-Tang Clan. Those first, that too. But that was like Wu-Tang Clan wasn't a fucking popular thing until like well after high school, as far as like it being everywhere. I remember I had like my little metal friend clique, and then I had a few people that also listened to metal that also listened to like rap music. So a lot of Wu-Tang stuff and like Tupac stuff, and I lost my mind when like All Eyes on Me came out. And me and Justin Daly used to drive around. He had like crazy stuff bumping in his car, and we would listen to All Eyes on Me like nonstop. Whew. It's one of my favorites. Still to this, like the second disc on that, untouchable.
Nice. I know Judgment Day, Judgment Night.
Yeah, that soundtrack.
The best soundtrack of all time.
The 90s had crazy soundtracks. Fucking Demon Knight, Last Action Hero. They had a lot of good comps.
The Crow.
The Crow. The Crow 2 even had like a Deftones song on it that was like one of the better songs.
Were in the movie.
I never saw it. That's cool. What do they do?
There's like a scene where it's like Dia de los Muertos. They're like everybody's wearing the costume for the Mexican Day of the Dead, and they're in the street, and there's a stage in the middle of the street, and they're just playing, and everybody's around them with masks and shit.
Yeah.
But they're playing that song that's on the soundtrack.
Oh wow! Now I feel like I need to watch it.
You have to at least just watch that clip. You know, it's rough. It's rough to watch it because it's not Brandon Lee, so it's a little rough. But just that clip. I liked that movie, even though it was weird. I took my mom to go see that movie. Huh. And there's a lot of like drugs and bullshit going on, and she was like the whole time she's like, "Why are you making me watch this?"
Nice. That's
torture.
Quite different than my mom took me to see fucking Basic Instinct when I was a little kid.
What? You got to see that? That young?
Yeah, it was weird. I don't know. It was fucked up.
My mom showed me it too, but it was not in theaters. We saw it on TV or whatever.
Oh yeah, I think because if I didn't go, she probably didn't have a way to go because there's probably no way to watch me or something. She's like, "Fuck it, we're going to see this raunchy ass movie."
Well, I mean, she probably didn't know there was the crotch shot was happening. If it was the first time, because if it's the first time,
if you've seen a trailer, you know something scandalous is going to happen, or a lot of scandalous. Yeah.
God. Well, fuck, man. Well, we're almost at an hour. That's flew by. I didn't even realize that.
It flew by quick.
So tell me. All right. So your health is good. I mean, you're working on it.
Working on it. We're working on it. Doing what we can.
Mental health is good. Working on it.
We're working on it. That's a work in progress forever and ever and ever. I did finally see a psychologist and a psychologist for the first time ever in my life.
What's the difference? One of them can give you medicine,
and then one is someone to talk to.
Okay.
So, yeah. So it's one of those things where I've never been like a talky kind of person to oh hey I really need a shoulder to cry on. Like I've never been one of those. I think I've always felt like I had to be strong for the people around me. So I feel like all my shit that I have going on in my life gets fucking pushed deep down somewhere else so that I could be there for someone else. And I just don't, I feel like I just don't want my burdens to be other people's burdens. So, and that's all on me. Like, I think just growing up in like the late 80s and the 90s, like, you're supposed to suppress who you are at all times. Anything that was, showing any kind of weakness, you suppress it forever until it boils over and then you have big problems. Luckily, I never really had any big problems, but,
you lucked out.
Just one of, it's just one of those things like, I don't really talk to people, so I don't really necessarily feel like I need that.
But you started. You saw someone, and I mean, are you ready for the unpacking? Because it's coming. The shit's gonna start getting unpacked. You'll be like, oh no.
I guess we'll see. Well, I'll let you know how it goes. We'll do a part 2 and be like, oh yeah, I'm fucked.
Yeah, either that or who knows? It's weird. I haven't done it yet, but I have an appointment for mid-January. I finally decided, like, all right, I'll talk to someone to see what let me not use my podcast as therapy sessions and put that on the guest. So let's talk to someone else about it.
Funny enough, when I was talking to my psychologist, I was more concerned with other people and how the things that I do affect them. I was just more like that was the problem I was having was just like how my life impacts other people's lives. Like, so that was a weird thing to kind of like, I kind of figured that already, but like you don't really like put it out there or even like put it at the forefront of thought. And I was like, oh shit, whoops. I didn't really need to pull that out, but here we are.
So I'm saying, you're ready for the unpacking because more of that's coming for sure. Well, I'm glad. I mean, I hear it's good. I guess we'll find out. Like you said, we'll find out what happens. I'm hoping it does good for me as well. So I'm glad to hear that things are looking good and you're working on stuff. Health wise, mentally, and musically, you're working on stuff. Hoping that you can get on tour. I've been hounding Devin for years to like I need you guys back out here, please.
Yep. Trust me, because I just hung out with Uncle Devin just a couple days ago. He came over to my sister's house, and we all had breakfast and stuff, and it was cool. It was just like anytime we see each other, it's like no time has passed, and it's just that's like my brother, you know what I mean? Like, and I like miss him a lot all the time. But like you don't realize how much you miss somebody until you leave them from seeing them again. And then it's like, oh shit, like that was like the first time leaving him when I felt like fuck, like it's like hurts, you know. But you know, it's one of those things. So you gotta
that's real family right there. That's that when it hurts like that, that's real family.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, dude, thank you for chilling with me for an hour and talking shit.
Of course. Anytime.
I hope that you enjoyed yourself a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's cool. Anytime we haven't seen each other in person in quite some time, but anytime we did, we're kicking it, we're hanging, we're talking shit, we're doing the thing,
I miss sharing the stage with you, brother.
Yeah. We'll do it again one day.
Hopefully. Hopefully.
Yeah. We'll do something sometime at some point in time to do a thing, and Yeah.
For sure, brother. Well, for people that are watching and listening at home, and you want to follow Pete's adventures, Pete, where do they find you?
Shit.
What's the best way?
Where Instagram.
Do you post the most? Instagram.
Oh, Instagram. I mean, I got a personal Instagram, but I keep it, it's private. I let a few people in. I like to gatekeep my Instagram, you know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
But, Ether Coven Instagram, Murmur Never Instagram, Heathen Prayer, ATL. I have a vinyl page that I just like listen to records and then post about my experience with the record or whatever. That is Hiding Places 1312 on Instagram.
What's the Temple of Wu Design?
That's just like I just needed like a blanketed term to like make some designs, and I was designing our records and stuff, and I was like, all right, fuck it, if people need shit, we'll do it under that. Wu is my dog. You see her up here, right there, and then right here, and then right there, and then right there, I think, somewhere over here. Yeah, I'm obsessed with my dog.
He's
no longer with us.
Oh, he's no longer with you. Okay.
No. So it gets real dark when they're no longer with you, and then you get more obsessed. But
that was my fear into becoming a dog dad. Sorry, I said that backwards. Dog dad. My wife had been talking about it, and we finally got one, and then we got a second one. I'm like, man, this is gonna suck in about 10 years, 10 or whatever, 13, however long it is. But I know it's gonna be rough. I'm not prepared.
I'll tell you what. There's no pain I've ever felt that even compares to that. I've physical pain, emotional pain, nothing compares to the pain of losing my dog. To this day. Still. Out of all the things I've been through in the last few years, it's still, to this day, the worst pain that I've ever felt. Because the pain doesn't go away, you just kind of like learn how to deal with it, Kind of. Mostly by shoving it down until a boiling point, and then you have to cry all day for a day.
And you talk to a psychologist for it again.
Yeah. They can't fix these pains, you know what I mean? But
that's what I'm saying, man. That's why I've had such a hard time signing up for that, because I'm like, they're not going to get it. They're not.
Yeah.
They're not. It's too much.
It's too much.
Well, hey,
man. Don't understand.
I love seeing you. I hope that we see each other soon in person. I'll let you know if I travel to Florida. I mean, it's in the books at some point. I got to go back. It's been too long. But yeah, I'll hit you up and we'll hang for sure.
Sounds good. Be good.
Brother.
Have fun. Eddie, love you, bud. Be good. Have fun. Good luck with everything. I'll talk to you soon.
You too, brother. Take care.